Well, hey there. Fancy meeting you again in a place like this. It's good to see you this morning. I trust you're doing great and well. Thinking this morning, it's funny how, even with the joy inside, God gives this peace and so rustigheid oor jou sometimes. It's a different level of depth sometimes that comes through, and when you hang around in God's presence, everything is different. Everything is different. Thoughts change, views change, opinions change, your heart changes, your mind changes, everything changes. And I've realized this is because clarity clears in, because the mind opens up. The moment you get to let go of those things that are keeping your mind busy the whole time, the nonsense goeters that just are constantly grinding at you sometimes. The moment we step into God's presence and we find a way and God shows us the way or helps us, just release that. The way that we think, I know I can speak of experience, the way I think changes. The way my heart feels changes because God changes you. He wants you better. He makes it better. Thoughts enter in an instant sometimes. Sometimes after long periods of time, but like that, they just pop in. I'm spending time with the Lord this morning, and in a moment, I'm just thinking of how people cry out to God, but nothing changes. Nothing seems to change. They spend time in the Word, they pray, and you can hear from them. They are desperately seeking. They are desperate for Him to do something. And I'm thinking about that in a moment. And as I'm thinking, and my heart feels for people, feels for it like that, because I know God doesn't dig it when we're not lekker. I don't smoke it either when people aren't doing well. And any form of lashing out, aggression, hurt, intentional hurt against other people normally come from a place of hurt. Sometimes that we aren't even aware of. But we've built up such a defensive wall and mechanism around it that we don't even know what was the core cause of why we act this way in these type of situations. And in that same time, I'm thinking, and people are wondering why nothing seems to happen. I'm crying out to the Lord, but nothing's happening. Nothing is changing. And then God directs my thoughts to a scripture that I know very well. And that's in 2 Chronicles 7 and verse 14, where it says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land." Pray and seek His face. Turn from their wicked ways. Change. It's time to change. It's time to turn. Turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin and heal their land. If you don't change your ways, nothing will change. There's no use asking God for help if you don't plan on doing anything. There's no use in asking God for help when we in ourselves do nothing to better a situation. Whether it's changing the way you're thinking, whether it's changing the way you're thinking, even just about it, whether it is dealing and getting rid of some of this stuff, whether it's stop doing things, whether it's start doing new things, whether it's doing things a little bit differently. If you want to change, you need to change. How is a very weird question when that statement is made. And it becomes weirder for me every time that question is asked. How do I change? Very simple. If you're doing that thing and you're getting hurt every time, don't do that thing. It is simple. A few scriptures God added for me this morning with regards to this, and I'm sure there's a lot more. Jeremiah 29:12 and 13 says, "Then you will call upon me and go pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." You're not going to search and find God in the wrong places. It doesn't happen often anyway. If it does happen, it's one of those beautiful testimonies that come from it. Joel chapter 2 says in 12 and 13, "Now therefore, says the Lord, turn to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. So rend your heart and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, great of kindness, and he relents from doing harm." Return to the Lord your God. Isaiah 55:6 and 7 says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, and he will have mercy on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. Turn from your wicked way. Turn away from the thing. If you're doing something that you know that's wrong, turn away from it. It's no use asking if you're not planning on doing anything. James chapter 4 says, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." Verses 8 to 10. "Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up." It's not saying get sad in the Lord's presence. I was asking the Lord in this moment, why? Because joy is lekker. But this speaks of the wrong joy, the fake joy, the fake, horrible, terrible, fake joy of the world. In those terrible places and things that we keep on getting lost in our lives in. That's what this is talking about. Getting away from that. Let that joy turn to gloom because it's sad there, because you are getting lost there, because people are being destroyed there. That's what this is. Hosea chapter 6 and verse 1 says, "Come and let us return to the Lord. For he has torn, but he will heal us. He has stricken, but he will bind us up." God will fix if you go back. God will fix if you go even for the first time. Nothing you've been through, nowhere where you are is too far and too wide and too deep and too lost for God to come and fetch you. He just needs a chance. You just need to say, okay, Lord. I think I shared the other day, but I've heard of stories where people asked what seemed to have been the stupidest things. And yes, I'm making stupidest a word. Where somebody once asked, "Lord, if you are real, just have somebody give me a stone." What a silly question it sounds like. But a moment later, somebody walked by and handed them a stone that they picked up in the street. Silly, small, but it changed a man's world. It changed a man's everything. It would have blown me away, I'll tell you that. God placed a call on me this morning to an urgent message for me, for someone, or many someones. You need to turn around and go to the Lord. You need to turn back to the Lord. You need to stop those evil things that you are doing. You've gotten lost in the terrible things of this world. Some of the things you aren't even realizing yet, but some of the things you already know. Stop that. Get out of it. Get away from it. Bite the bullet and make that decision. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's going to be painful for a second. It's easy, but it's painful. It's not hard. And it's mostly painful because of the things we think we're going to miss out on. That's one of my main experiences when I used to think, oh, but I'm going to miss out on so much. I still have some of my best mates saying, dude, you don't know what you're missing out on. Oh, I know what I'm not missing out on. The goodness and the glory and the grace of God, which has always and will always be better than anything else you think this world has to offer. Even getting rid of thoughts, even woosahing after a long day, even taking a chill pill and miffing after the busiest day ever. Even when you think you've been stuck in a day so much and it's been a mentally draining day, a physically draining day, and everything draining day, God comes in and He just energy back, mind chilled, just rest in His presence, lying on my bed for like 2 minutes, and it's like, sorted. And the thing is that, that we think we'll miss out on these things, and that's why it's painful. But what we don't know is the greater things that we'll see and experience with the Lord. Jeremiah 33 verse 3 says, call to me and I will answer you and, listen to this, show you a great and mighty things which you do not know. Because we don't know the things that we'll experience with the Lord yet, we think we might miss out on things of this world, this terrible stuff that's been keeping you in a place anyway, which is terrible and horrible and not so lekker. The things we don't know, and that is so fitting because we think we'll miss out. But what God has is better. And it has always been better. And it will always be better. Because His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. He's got better stuff. Because He's not limited by anything. That's why His stuff will always be better. Sometimes it takes time to realize this, because once we make that turn, God needs to come break down, destroy. He needs to remove those terrible rotten bricks that you've built with. Because if they aren't removed, that structure is going to break. It's going to have a weak spot, it's going to have weak points, and one bad hit and that whole thing is going to come tumbling down. And God needs to take it out first, and then He wants to come build, because He wants to place a better brick in that old rotten, cracked, broken, crumbling brick's place. So He can build a strong you, a better you, a different level completely of you, but the real you, a truthful you. I don't want you to spend another moment in fear and depression and anxiety and stress and worry, because it's busy ruining the beautiful creation of God that you are. You need to change. Change is required. And action causes change to happen. Humble yourself. Pray. Turn from your wicked ways back to the Lord. Action. Turning is an action. Turn back to God and He will save you. He will better your reputation. He will better your situation. He will lift you up. He will bring that healing. He will bring that thing. He will bring that healing that you so desperately cry out for and seek. He will bring that thing that you are waiting for so badly. You are called by His name, my friend. Seek His face, and He will heal your land.